And we are off, folks, for the fourth game of our day, I believe, our second Opens coverage. We have Barefoot facing off against Wizard Wands from Wellington, playing out of the light kit on your screen at the moment, working from the left side towards the right with a big huck going up.
Ooh, and a quick pursuit there by the defensive player.
Matthew Varley going to shut that one down. Barefoot, a little bit of an eclectic team, managing to find Micah Miller on that near sideline. Some good disc movement for the Barefoot's defensive side, working back the other way. But of course, as always, my name is Blair Monroe.
My name's Rachel Honeyroyal.
And we are here for the first day. What a big layout necessary to keep possession alive.
We see the teams here are fighting a little bit of wind, but nothing they haven't played in already this morning. Ooh, and a high take, a lot to ask.
Schroeder couldn't reel that one in. He's going to give the disc back. Peter Hubin.
This Wellington team having played together a bit more, I believe.
Yeah, they'll have utilized a lot of the season up until this point to practice and dial in some of that chemistry. So it'll be good to see how they're not quite able to keep that one in hands. McEwen there. Finds Pew.
We see the teams looking deep now, lining up that big shot to the player who got the D earlier, and unfortunately, height is not enough in that situation.
Not going to be able to connect on that one.
Nice reading of the disc by McEwen there to get that D.
So Wizard Wands right in front of their own defensive end zone. A 64-meter field ahead of them to work through. 75 minutes on the clock and a race to 13.
Peter Hubin now taking his time walking the disc up to the front of the end zone. Schroeder on the mark. Currently looks like a bit of a flat mark by Barefoot. So trying to force that disc wide and maybe stop those hucks. An isolated undercut by Wands. Wizard Wands, I should say.
Manages to come back, finds McNee around to Hobin.
They're making a lot of space for individual cutters, but it does mean they are getting a little stranded, reaching the 3 or 4 stall count and then needing to dump the disc. Finding that combination of not crowding and not isolating their handlers. There have been some fast discs in this right-hand direction, which is a downwind direction at the moment. We're going to see the disc in Hubin's hands a lot this game, with an inside shot to score with the first point on the board for Wizard Wands.
Tane McNee pulls it down right at the front of the end zone to give a nice lead. Again, a hold to start things off as well. So not the cleanest hold. There were a few turns in either direction. Wizard Wands attempted with a couple of big hucks, but some defensive pressure from Barefoot was able to shut that down, but they weren't able to close it out going back the other way. So Wands up by 1, a great start to the open match.
It'll be interesting to see if Wizard Wands are deterred in shooting it deep after that last defensive play by the Barefoot player. Let's see if they're going to keep trying that and working out who's on the field and where the matchups are that are appropriate for deep shots. Because I think there are a couple players on their team who like to shoot it deep quite a bit. We have 7 on the line ready to receive from Barefoot on the left-hand side of your screen.
Mickael with a cheeky wave towards the camera.
Taking advantage of being on the stream. We see a flick pull, which lands about where the brick mark is. Picked up there by Mackling.
Kieran Allen. Oh, but it comes off the hands of Malachi Simons.
So a short break chance here. Working it right to the front of the end zone, but not being lured into trying to score. Waiting for a brilliant open cut. Gets to the ground to secure it.
Mickael with the first and last touches on that possession, starting with the pull, ending with the point. Wizard Wands are up by 2.
So that was kind of a soft turn by Barefoot. It wasn't forced, but that does mean that it wasn't there for the defensive pressure, so it's just an execution issue. We know that they're more than capable of executing those throws and catches. Alan staying on the field. Quite a bit of experience behind him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's a great player to have on your on either defensive or offensive line. If we see Barefoot playing a zone, he's the kind of player you'd expect to see parked up in the deep. He's got a lot of experience, a lot of good read, and has a good sense for what direction the play is going to unfold in and get himself into a position where he can make a big impact on it.
So we see Wizards Hubin with the disc, getting ready to put up the pull. Expecting a big pull from him. The wind is picking up a little bit now as we speak. You might be able to see that on the scoreboard with the score being pushed around by the wind. So far, it's just been match, but we have seen a bit of zone this morning as well. We'll see if the Wellington team pulls out its zone like previous Wellington teams have on this field.
Classic Hoban pull. Stretches deep into the back of the defensive half. Rocard picks it up. Manages to cross field to Puller. Through to Allen. The separation in the downfield's there. He's going to send it. Looking for Will Varley. Oh, tries to reach.
Was right under it.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaking drop there. Just not triggering the hand closing quite fast enough. But a nice put from Allen there. Managed to move his mark with his fakes and releases it in a really narrow window of space. Wizards with the disc now. Stevenson looking back to his dump. Little bit of clogging in front of the disc, but it's cleared up.
Huge take there by Beswick. Goes through to Dinsdale.
Dinsdale looking for a dump now. Looking to go for a run.
Worsley involved, one touch, and it's away. Rocard shuts that one down to give Barefoot possession. Allen to pick up at halfway. Varley on an upline, but cycles out. Mackling.
There's a pick call on the field. Just a little bit of collision right in front of the disc.
Puller a little bit too open.
So these teams might have played together at one of the previous qualifying tournaments. Wizards, I know, traveled to Christchurch for ULTI.TV for the regional qualifier here.
Considering that there was a little bit of an upset with the Central Regions tournament not going ahead. So, Rocard not able to pull that one down that time. Otherwise, so secure.
Dinsdale cutting deep, but Mackling making up that ground, cutting off that deep cut. Hard graft by Dinsdale to get the under instead. Good comms between these two.
Mackling putting so much pressure on defense. Hoban with the hook. Lasering over. What a take.
Oh, I thought that was going to go a bit too far.
O'Sullivan to pull that one down. Wizard Wands up by 3. Barefoot yet to answer.
Yeah, great backup on that huck by Hubin.
Definitely. I mean, we're going to see that again. So much meat on that one. Again, pressure from Malachi Simons, targeting the disc where the first receiver went up for it. But great work by O'Sullivan to get into a really good position, as you say, to have that backup there. Just in case they miss, what can we do to make sure that we maximize the chances of getting something good out of this possession?
We probably shouldn't be speaking for Hubin. He might have been aiming for that receiver all along, so maybe it was right on target.
You know, you're exactly right. Who are we to say? Wizard wants to send out their defensive side yet again.
Barefoot not having the biggest roster at the tournament, but still enough to sub a whole line. They'll be talking about what they can do offensively, tidying up the throws, because again, they've been kind of soft turns. So trying to keep them self-disciplined on this offensive point.
Absolutely. It's about making Wands earn any turns that they get.
We see the pull now coming up from the player on Wizard Wands.
Mickael, another flick pull, decides to put it up. It's a little bit more touch and roll this time. Barefoot, oh, they've let it go. Oh, just able to get it before it rolls out of bounds. It's Dewhurst with the disc facing off against what looks to be match defense from the Wizard Wands.
Being pushed back by this defensive match. They're really cutting off we're really chasing those unders hard. Good positioning to stop the defender, getting around him for that.
Schroeder goes through to Knight on the near sideline. Schroeder available as the reset, but he's a little bit too close. It's up, it's down, manages to somehow pull that one.
Almost strips it off the player.
Dewhurst gets it in power position, but he can't use that momentum just yet. Schroeder takes the reset, continues with the next. Great pressure from the Wands to generate the turn.
Great commitment on that run through. That is
Nathan Knight to shut that block down.
That was Worsley with the D from Wizard Wands, but it's right back to Barefoot again. He's looking towards the middle of the field now.
Oban releases, goes to Dewhurst, setting up some continuation work. Defensive pressure, finds the inside break and a huge layout.
That was right through the arms of the player who got on the ground. Knight there with the drop, and a drop in return by Wands. Zoo not able to hold on to it.
Not quite as precise through this point as we've seen them play already, so hopefully Barefoot can make something from it. Oh, Schroeder, I'm sure he got a fingerprint on that one.
Good work by the Wizard Wands player. He really made Schroeder go up early for that, which as a result ended up with him going too early. So that is the exact amount of, you know, that's your job done there on defense.
Yeah.
We see a big deep cut, and it's instead chosen to go under. But they've definitely been using that deep space. Stuck to the sideline a little bit here. There we go, working it into the middle to open up both sides of the field.
Wong has it for the Wands, continues to push towards the far sideline. Receives it back on a crossfield cut, continuing to use the middle of the space. Tan, nice quick give and go, goes to Zoo.
Tan's got his eyes on his dump, but the mark is is wide. Oh, nice low release.
Mickael puts it up, and a huge layout block is going to give the disc back to Barefoot.
Mickael being punished, trying to shove it into that corner, trying to hit the tiny little corner there when he had the whole other side of the field to hit, I feel. It was a great release point, but it wasn't leading at all, unfortunately. It's very small margin of error with that small amount of space that you've got. Great D there by the Barefoot player. And we have
Dewhurst to pick up quickly, trying to get that reset, but it's a little high, and it's a Callahan. Stolen. Gamby.
That is big work there by Gamby. Climbs up the ladder to get that disc.
Oh.
That's our third Callahan for the day, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we've seen a lot of them from that half as well, if not all of them.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I think that's driving those Callahans, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel, but we're seeing a really consistent, not necessarily in terms of force, but definitely in terms of direction, wind that's going from the far side of your screen or the top side of your screen down towards the bottom, so the far side of the field towards the near. When they're pinned down in those corners, we're seeing a lot of the front edge of the disc being lifted up, and it's given to the wind, which is getting more than enough float to throw off the intended receiver's read of the disc and to give the defensive player an opportunity to make a play. We've seen Richard Fernando, I think, pull down one of those. We saw one earlier. Was that in the Phoenix Beybladers game? Our very first game of the day. So, string of Callahans and managing to catch them all on stream. So there are going to be a handful of players who are incredibly excited about getting to watch their game footage back this evening.
Which does mean that if you want to try and set up a Callahan, this is probably the kind of win to do it in. Not that people should be playing that way. We should be playing nice, honest defense. But no, that angle from that left-hand side corner is just brutal. You can't let it float at all. Ooh, and a pop looked off. Smart work there by Puller.
Mackling getting involved. Marked nice and tightly by Huben, who's switching around. Williams on an undercut, tries to go for the give-go. Mackling with a huge fake, gets aggressive, bites out of the defense, goes back to Will Varley. Mickael circling around, gets the reset puller there available as a support. Not a lot developing for them in the downfield. Allen shakes the free of the defender, puts it through past Dinsdale. Can Puller get there? Oh, not in time.
Get off your feet. There, it looked, from this particular angle, it looked a lot closer than it does on camera.
Yeah, make like Gloria Esteban said and get off your feet, get up and make it happen.
It's a lot easier to say than do, though, to be fair.
And a lot harder to sing. We're going to have Peter Hopen bring up the disc to the front of the Wizard Wands end zone.
It was a very narrow window to try and hit. Yeah. Maybe perhaps Allen thought the disc would be pushed back and slowed down by the wind a little bit. We see a deep cut from Dinsdale, and it's rewarded by Hubin.
Peels early, though. Mickael with a touch. He's going to shut that one down. Quickly pushing to the far sideline, finds Williams. Undercuts not rewarded, works back to the midfield. Allen with the cannon, looking for Varley, but there's a slip, a recovery, and a score. Barefoot are on the board.
Redemption for Varley after having just popped that huck, almost the same huck being popped out of his hand earlier.
My sincerest apologies to headphone wearers at home watching this stream. Whew, can I get the world's most polite and restrained chahoo? Barefoot on the board after a phenomenal sequence there. One still up by 3, but that might be a turning point for them in the match, which is really, really great to see. We're going to see here again Williams getting that break shot through to Allen, who puts the big shot up. And then, despite great defensive pressure by McNee, Varley's able to pull that one down after recovering from that slip.
Do you think he was assisted in falling over? It gave him a better angle of reading the disc.
Oh, absolutely. It's just about sometimes about changing your perspective.
Yeah,
that
almost looked intentional.
Oh yeah.
But no, it's a nice little medium range shot there from Allen. Barefoot potentially relying a little bit on him for those quick release throws that are going to have the defensive positioning off on the back foot a little bit.
Varley with a huge pull. It's going to be picked up by Wong early. Wants to go through to Hoban.
Dinsdale with another deep cut. She's been making that cut a lot. Something that she is eager to tire her defenders out with.
Rips for McEwen, who gets it on the second attempt. Barefoot, you got to catch those.
That was as close as it could get on D in terms of almost getting the turn. He's looking back for his dump, not looking into the end zone. Finally, we have Barefoot finding their matchups, popping it through to Hubin, all the space he could want in front of him.
Almost like he just let that disc go. Less of a throw, more of a throw. But manages to put that one away. Wizard Wands.
That's a hold by Wizard Wands, but there was a hard-fought point.
Absolutely. They definitely had to work for it, which is great to see. There's a lot of pressure from Barefoot. I think getting that first score of theirs after having given up that Callahan makes for a big swing in their sort of personal momentum. So it's really, really good to see them sticking tight on defense, playing hard, continuing to work for every possession. Hulse here, you can see Hoban's cut about to start from the right-hand side of the screen, cutting through, and then just nice and patient, down to McEwen.
And patient of, was it Tan with the disc? Or patient of the Wizard Wands player, waiting for everyone to find their matchup so it's not, there's no poachers in the way that he could potentially throw to. And also good defense by Barefoot in containing that open thrower. And not giving him any break side continuations.
Hand goes up. We're about to see it. Jonathan King puts the pull up for the Wizard Wands. Oh, it looks like that's going to be a failed attempt to catch a pull. That's definitely what the Wizard Wands players are saying.
A bit of chat about that, I reckon. Let's see if we can get a replay. That's going to be a close call, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh.
Maybe less of a close call than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is we're going to see, did he have control? That doesn't look like he had sustained control of that before it touched the ground. So if that is upheld, that's going to be an immediate turnover. Look, push the matter, which is an interesting thing. But again, well-spirited to allow them to continue. Although it's very, very easy to be spirited when you're currently up by 4.
Mickael moving it nicely in the middle. She's got some amazing movement of her mark with her fakes.
And she's wide open on that near sideline, but with the wind pushing in that direction, it'd be unsurprised. Gamby goes up and takes it down, generating the turn. Marked by Kieran Allen. Slips one through to Beswick, who continues. Finds Jonathan King. Puts the shot up, but it's turning early. Mickael underneath it. Not yet in the end zone. Can they finish here? Up and over. Oh!
That.
Allen putting just enough pressure on that one to stop Gamby getting it.
Looks like there might be a little injury call, or at least a moment to check everyone is okay. Injury has been called on the field by Gamby. I think he was just desperate to get his hands on that disc.
Yeah. Looks like the landing was maybe just a little bit harder than he was expecting.
It's a shame because there was enough time and Gamby was open if that that throw by Simon, sorry, had taken a little bit more time to throw that might have been catchable.
Allen working through to Mackling in the reset space, center field.
It's nice. It's interesting seeing women matching players on both teams. Ooh, big
touch. Yeah. Tan gonna shut that one down.
A decisive hand block there. No, really impressive.
King drops the hammer, looking for Mickael. Mickael's second point of the game, I think, if not third. So that takes Wizard Wands to 6 over Barefoot's 1. Missed foot spike. Saves the disc, if nothing else.
Yes, no, we're seeing the woman matchups being matched up against by both genders as well. They're just kind of taking it as it comes, but it's good to see everyone getting involved.
It is one of the things that I love the most about, particularly in New Zealand Ultimate, but also in Australia and then several other countries throughout the World Flying Disc Federation. It's an open division, not a men's division. And so it is open to all players of all gender identities and sexes. And so it's really, really great to see when female matching players have decided, no, I'm going to go play in the open division. I'm going to go play with my friends. I'm going to play at a level that I know is going to challenge me competitively. I'm not worried about, you know, the likelihood of a height mismatch. I'm going to go out and I'm going to play my game. And seeing them integrate so well into the teams and have the impact that they are is really, really great to see.
And it really makes you fully utilize whatever mismatch you do, have it be speed or agility or a strategic mismatch. As soon as you can be tested in different ways.
Absolutely.
in the opens, women's, and mixed division, all have different styles of play.
And of course, the biggest strategic mismatch is a male matching player thinking, oh, you're a female matching player, I can handle this. Oh, you might not be able to handle it as well as you think.
Absolutely, you really can't sleep on anyone.
Oh, 100%. It's got to be right on the back shoulder every possession. You know, teams of this caliber, especially, you know, considering like from the nation's capital where a lot of, you know, Windy Ultimate is played in Wellington, to be able to make a team like this, like that's the testament of the skill there. Oh, Williams can't connect with Varley. It's going to be a turn and a chance here. Hoban to pick up, hoping to send the Wizards to halftime.
Another unlikely drop from these players here. So Hoban now looking to find space against the defender, and a little bit of a miscue. I think he was looking at thinking about his cut rather than thinking about the catch, and it just came up in a very narrow window. So Barefoot have another chance here. Williams with the disc now. Nice little movement. Setting up the power position for Williams again.
Yeah.
Oh, that was tough over his head. If he'd been a little further right and had a bit more, was able to anticipate the bleed of the disc a little more.
Yeah.
But it was a lot to ask. We kind of saw him, almost thought we were going to get a layout there.
Yeah, I mean, great vision by Nickel to see Varley pushing into that deep space in that big sand.
You could see him line that layout up. Some good communication from Stevenson, telling his players where he wants them to be.
Working the line well. Hulse with the disc now. Goes around to Hoban in front of the defense. Puts the big shot up, looking for Dinsdale, but the volleyball block is there. Williams with the disc now. Immediate foot block returns possession to the Wands.
So
Spelliarmus.
We see Hoban with the slow walk up to the disc.
Matthew Varley to apply defensive pressure. Supported by McNee. Immediately goes to the reset, starting some motion. Pushes the far corner. What a find.
And he just manages to toe that in. It seems the whole sideline is in agreement there. Stevenson with the point to take us to half.
Absolutely. So the score is 7-1. Barefoot down by 6 at the moment.
But there has been a lot of exchanging of possession, though. It's definitely been not a clean game. So there's been opportunities for both teams here.
Absolutely. And if history tells us anything, folks, here at Hagley Park North, Bob Deans Fields in Ōtautahi, Christchurch, it's that the second half is the half to watch. We haven't really had many situations where a team has walked out to a dominating first half and just continued that momentum all the way through without having to really work hard against a team who was fired up for the comeback. But we are going to see what the second half brings in just a moment. This clash between the Wizard Wands and Barefoot. My name is Blair Monroe.
My name is Rachel Siahani Royal.
And we will be back very soon.
Wanted you to see me, never thought you'd notice. Thought that you should know I'm already sold, so never let me go. You had me at a la 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 la. I can see you trying, finding ways inside my head. Lost and out of focus, I can hear a word you say. 'Cause I don't care about your game, I just wanted you to see me. Thought that you should know I'm already sold, so never let me go. You had me at a la 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 la. Talking, I don't care. With you, my mind is clear. La 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 la. Have me at hello. La 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 la. Have me at hello. La 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 la.
Who let the dogs out? Who? We are back for the second half of the Wizard Wands from Wellington facing off against Barefoot. Barefoot on offense here, so not having to work to get the disc to start things off. We've got Alex Dewhurst with the disc facing down against a Wizards zone. Managing to push towards the far sideline where the wind is blowing them back towards the center sideline, so it's where they want to be. It's going to give them the greatest versatility. Oban with the disc comes all the way through, gets to Edger.
We see Mickael right in the middle of this zone here from Wizards, trying to take some over-the-top shots, but also just cutting off whoever might be, if they might be able to break through the nose of the zone. Nice work there from Varley, using his momentum to be running through the wall of the zone as he catches the disc. Oh, and great explosiveness from Hubin.
Laser show through to the end, overthrows the receiver.
Just a little bit too much to the right there, but that was, you can see him recognize, or if we see the replay, you can see him recognize that he's able to get to that disc on defense, and he takes off to get it. Against the zone again.
Firing back, going nice and quick. Oban with the disc, supported there.
Nice move from Varley to clear up that space in the middle.
Goes through to Micah Miller, back to Bevan Pugh, far sideline. Knight trying to stretch the depth of the field, working with Pugh again. The zone doing what it's supposed to, arresting the movement, forcing them to take lower percentage options. Knight gets it in hand.
We see the deep player out of position.
There's a call made a couple of passes ago. Looks like King making a call about contact on Knight's reception.
An interesting one. I think it wasn't Knight who was the one who initiated contact, but it's it's discussing whether that affected the player who's calling a foul's attempt on the disc, which it doesn't look like it was from the replay, but harder to tell when you're on the field.
Yeah, and I think King as well, cutting from the downfield space, was actually on the blind side of the I guess receiver or offensive player who was looking to make that initial play before Knight took to the skies. So going to see that call get retracted, which I think is probably the right call there. Barefoot will retain possession, although it looks like the disc is going to go back a couple of passes too.
The call, without meaning to, probably still kind of advantages Wizards a little bit. King, I believe, was the deep player. He had come really far under to make that D. He would have left a couple players open in the deep, so it's kind of a bit lucky in a way.
Yeah. So Dewhurst with the disc now for Barefoot, hoping to put their second point on the board. And a pick called. Great cut by Nathan Knight, though.
It might stay with Knight, considering it didn't affect his reception of the disc.
And considering as well that his defender was right on his shoulder, which I think is probably a reasonable call.
And disc is called, it's a very fast.
Oban getting low, getting horizontal, just a fraction of a second too late.
I liked he stayed connected with that disc for as long as he possibly could. And a big shot from Hubin. Oh, beautiful, beautiful huck. It was at a very catchable height for a long time. And patience here from number 67.
King with the disc. Got Hobin available on that near sideline. Jumped in too easily. It's going to go 8-1. Wands over Barefoot.
Nice work by Hubin there to put the huck up and then chase all the way down to get the score afterwards as well. Not just enough to get the hockey assist on that one.
Hockey assist and a score, you know, like you got to pad your stat sheet somehow.
I think you can see the moment that he hears Hubin coming around to his left side.
Yeah.
Nice little pass over the defender there. Some great camera work here.
Little artistic bouquet for the folks at home. King with the elevator pop pass up and over for Wellington's number 6, Peter Hubin.
That kind of shot in particular has gone astray so many times already today because of the wind. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially when you're on that low side of the sideline, trying to put it up in that direction. There's a lot of potential for it to have gone wrong. So well done for the Wands to have pulled that one down. Another
break for them. So it's looking like it's a game of attrition at the moment. Both teams are making mistakes, but certainly the Wands are actually managing to capitalize when they get it back.
Allen, Williams, Nickel in the backfield for Barefoot. Facing down against a nice Wizard zone, that classic arrowhead that we've seen. Nickel with a great athletic grab there. Acrobatic as much as it was athletic, I think. Allen with the disc. Hammer to the midfield, eaten up by Dinsdale. Can't spell Dinsdale without two big Ds right in there, and we just saw one of them. Huge block to give the disc back to the Wizards. Immediately working back the other way. Tan to Dinsdale near sideline. Marked by Mickael. Finishes strong. Oh, not able to. Stevenson under pressure. Couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, just had a bit too much momentum forward to make the height required for that catch. Which gives Barefoot back the disc. Allen walking up the disc to these three players in front of him. Three defensive players.
Goes to Nickel to Mackling. Williams having moved into the midfield. Not a lot of crashing happening through the zone. Allen having to weave through to get the disc.
They're still trying to hit their offensive players through the middle a little bit. See if they can figure out where they want to drag the defensive players in order to open up their teammates. There's a lot of pointing going on right now, pointing and chatting.
Some good off-disc communication, signifying where targeted space is. And again, I think that's one of the things. You look at a player like Kieran Allen with his experience, he's seeing 1 or 2 passes ahead. He's pointing where he wants the disc so that he can attack the next available space. Williams with it now. Back to Allen. Nickel near sideline. Mackling cycles back into the handler space.
No one looking at the deep space at the moment, though. They're all within 10 meters or so right now. But if they can live with a disc like this, then that's okay. It's just whether they can, if they're going to end up making the mistake that that they're trying to force.
Will Varley hits an inside shot, looking for Simons.
So patient, Varley, for that inside shot.
Crossfield option looked off in favor of a quick reset. Nickel goes to Williams for the score. Barefoot's second point on the board. Down by 6, but not out.
And showing that they can finish off their offense in terms of getting all the way to the end zone and then into the end zone as well. So that must feel good after a bit of a score drought for Barefoot.
I think, yeah, Williams being so free in the end zone, I wonder whether or not, certainly at the front end of that defensive side for Wands, whether they were still looking to play that zone defense. Created a lot of opportunities. That quick angle change, all of a sudden, 3 players all still around Simons, even though he no longer had the disc. So a little bit less reactive than they have been in the past. Barefoot doing a great job of capitalizing on that, having to send out a defensive line now to try and put their 3rd point on the game if they can generate a turn.
So we have a pull coming up from Barefoot. Looking for a big pull, giving them a chance to run down. Varley putting that disc up. One of 2 Varleys on this team. Playing with their brothers, I assume?
Hamilton Tall Boys on the field, on the team. Hoban with the disc. Looks like we're seeing a Barefoot zone this time now. Micah Miller on the wing trying to stop the continuation. Wong has it. That shot through gets looked off. Can't get it to Brill. Goes back to Hoban midfield. Arrowhead can't stop the hammer over the top. Good recovery by Stevenson.
I wonder who that was for, but it's managed to be caught by Brown, kept alive. Looking for Stevenson again. A great receiver. Faking the hop, trying to move the players. But instead giving it back to his handler.
Tries for the inside shot, can't get away, goes around to Brill. It's a little bit skew with a laser show through to Wong. Some give-go, gets in front of the zone. Mickael has it. Dinsdale attacking the far front corner. Oh, good vision.
Dinsdale open initially and then also open when she was thrown to, but unfortunately the throw wasn't quite there. Nice cut there though, trying to go unnoticed in that front corner of the zone. This low side is tough to get off of though for Barefoot. Again, this is the shot that we've had the Callaghans on. This swing here. So good job there from Varley to not show the underside of the disc to the wind.
Absolutely. Knight cutting through. Schroeder, big pump fake. Goes around, finds wide side.
Getting it break side for a few shots in a row. Big shot now.
Varley with the whip. Oh, you got to at least let him try. Knight has it. Oh, can they conclude? Schroeder with the layout take. Barefoot go on the board
that
again.
Is exciting. Back-to-back layouts there for the score. Some dramatic work there by Barefoot. That's a really fun play to watch.
Put your body on the line. Barefoot back within 5.
Those were very much, could have gone either way. It's exciting to see players not giving up on the disc here. So close to the ground. It wasn't called in the game, and so we see this second layout here. Nice job, Schroeder, willing to get dirty to save the disc.
What a huck that was. That was nice. Hey, no call is no call.
Absolutely. We get to see that in slow-mo, which is something the players on the field do not get to do. So that's break. First break for Barefoot.
Huge work.
Bit of momentum in the second half. I wonder if they're more comfortable playing against this zone that that Wizards have decided to throw out. Playing against the zone, I mean, I think sometimes it just takes the alchemy of the conditions of the day and the team you're playing against for it to click, and sometimes you end up not being able to figure it out, like not being able to unlock it quite.
Oh, that one's gone.
Way out, trying to hit our bystanders here.
Yeah, trying for that really aggressive inside-out pull from the right hand. That's so much carry.
You kind of need to aim that kind of pull at a 45 degrees out of the field.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even want to aim it in the field.
And I think the other thing as well, it's something I do say a lot, the further away from the ground you are, the higher the pull goes, the more impacted by the wind it's going to be. So I think when players forget to calibrate for that, they send up long shots instead. Oh, Dewhurst was underneath that one, ready to shut it down. Dinsdale with a great deep cut yet again, but not rewarded.
Dinsdale kind of got dragged under a little bit by the defensive player there. Maybe should be committing to her own read of the disc a bit more.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, is that if you've got a player, like Alex Dewhurst, okay?
Like the one we have here.
Yeah, exactly. With that kind of height mismatch, just trust him to not get it and say, like, look, if he misses it, I'm going to get it. If I stay close to him, he's probably going to get it anyway.
Much easier to tell yourself than to have your body remember.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But that Hubin-Dinsdale connection is something that we see all throughout mixed season as well. We've seen many times, and we'll see many more of. Good mark there by Dinsdale. Just a high stall count, and ooh, great mark by creates a turnover.
Yeah, and a quick one punch through to Worsley is going to take Wand to 9. The score is 9-3.
Yes, I think Wizards got a little bit lucky there, but again, it's not luck if it happens over and over again.
Luck is just where opportunity meets talent. But yeah, huge layout attempt there by Knight. But it's not going to be enough. And then we see that immediate King reaches, picks up Worsley around that back side, hitting that far front corner.
You get to see one of the perils of laying out. If it's unsuccessful, you're out of position. You're on the ground. I know that I definitely don't get up very quickly anymore, or as fast as I used to at least. But if you don't lay out for it, you'll never know.
Oh, 100%.
So we see Barefoot on offense again. Varley, Allen, a couple of players that we've seen quite frequently. Wonder what we'll see from the Wizards. Their zone has largely been working. They have, that's a hammer pull is definitely a pull you want to save for when you're up by 6 points.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is I was kind of expecting to see an adherence to a match defense, considering that a zone isn't really going to be as beneficial when Barefoot have the wind at their backs. So we've got Kieran Allen near sideline, hits the inside break, goes all the way through.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, finds Brocard.
There are specific players that I don't want to play a zone against as well, and I would say Allen's one of those.
I'm glad that Kieran Allen and Joe Panay are not often on the same team. But he's got it right in the front, hoping to close things out, goes through to Nickel.
Nickel looking for that inside. 2 players on the open side.
Big hammer up, it's too high for Simons. Feel it, it's fading. Oh, out the back of the end zone.
As soon as you see two defensive players right in front of you, you know if someone else is poached off of, but unfortunately not at all calibrated for the wind. But you see what he's thinking there. He's thinking, that player's obviously unmarked. That back corner is where the open player is going to be. A low side force here from Barefoot.
Seeing Gamby return to the field, thankfully. Tan with the big huck. Allen's going to be the one there.
Allen goes early and takes it, making sure that D is in his hands.
Finds Rocard on the snap back. Cuts through to Nickel again.
Nickel has got two dumps available to him, but he's still looking downfield. Little pop pass.
Finds Williams, puts the shot up. Looking for Rocard. Oh, he'd better have caught it after doing the little airplane hands. Barefoot 4, Wizards 9.
That was a great pop pass to power position by Barefoot there. That's the kind of thing you train in a drill over and over again. It's a hold by Barefoot, I believe. We get to see this again. It was really good recognition. Who scored here? Who scored?
That was Connor Rocard for Barefoot.
It was good recognition by Rocard. He was checking over his right-hand shoulder. He watched this pop pass go up. You could see them recognize each other. And great timing on that put as well.
Yeah, a really, really nice sequence from Barefoot. They'll be pretty proud of that one.
Now trying to figure out how to get the disc back into their hands more frequently. We have a beautiful blue sky here today, which we just got the pleasure of seeing. Varley now with the pull. Not a hammer pull this time by the looks of it.
And I think that's the right call. Huge amount of heat behind that one, but well fielded. Brill, Wong, and Worsley as the handler core facing down against a Barefoot zone. Arrowhead, they're working, they're playing with their food a little.
Oh yes, right through the middle. These two having great communication via the eyes, trying to figure out where the gap in that wall of Barefoot is.
Oh, couldn't connect with Stevenson. It tumbles from his hands and the clap.
So the game, pretty close now. Well, getting closer point by point. I mean, we've talked about momentum before this morning, or at least I have, and currently, if what you're doing against their defense is clicking, you want to figure out what that is, dial it in, lock it in, and also then not get stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. You have to anticipate the changes that the other team is going to make. But that last D was excellent, just really committed to anticipating what was going to get put up.
Yeah, just really, really great vision. Quick reflexes, all coming together. A perfect closure to that point. Edger with that touch. And then a really nice fast break as well. I think that one of the things that you called for was maybe a little bit more precision around the disc. And I don't know if we saw that, but what they lacked in precision, they more than compensated for in athleticism.
It was a precise catch, even if it wasn't a precise throw.
Oh, that's a fair point.
But also Barefoot, I think, able to take those attempts at those run-through Ds because they know that the players behind them are picking up whatever gaps open up. So it's a little bit of faith in your team as well. Barefoot with the pull. Allen chatting to his team.
Supported by Puller, Simons, Mackling, Williams as well. Some really, really solid players on this Barefoot team who have done some really solid work throughout this game to claw back a reasonably significant deficit to make it a 2-point game. 69 minutes in. We've got another 6 or so minutes on the clock. Allen with the low, long pull. Wong goes to Hoban. Simons early on the mark. Definitely seeing that Barefoot zone again. Simons at the very, very front. Comes around to Brill. Tries to find one through. Allen's underneath it. No, he's not.
That's tough.
McEwen.
Yes, not getting. Oh, and to Dinsdale in the very corner. I was going to say not getting dragged into that open over the top, but the over the top worked. It's a bit of a shame. The wing defender here on Barefoot, I think that they didn't realize the disc had gone up. They might have had a play on it had there been someone on the sideline here letting them know. But instead, the deep defender had come under, and so it was, yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, even though, the Wizards were able to get a score off this one, we're going to see again. McEwen goes to Brill.
Dinsdale staying in contact with the person with the disc.
Yeah.
Staying in contact with Brill there, sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think like the Wizard wants a great score for them, no doubt about it. But Barefoot rather, taking some pride in that they did force a lower percentage option. You know, like if they score off a hammer, it wasn't really as much as you would do about that. Is that they scored off the world's easiest backhand. So shout out to Barefoot for managing to pressure them to that point. Wizard Wands back up to a 3-point lead.
And we have a game to 13 this game, so potentially only 3 points left in it if the Wizard Wands are able to go on another run like they had earlier in the first half.
Absolutely.
Hopefully not, though. That wouldn't be very exciting at all.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great for them. Mickael with the disc. I think we saw him warming up that hammer pull again.
Let's see if which upside down throw he pulls out for this. Oh, and just a flick roller there.
How pedestrian.
Good job on Puller to stop the roll there, although I think it was rolling back downfield.
Allen goes through.
Puller is just willing to go to work all the time and win it with his legs, which is always good to see.
Really solid midfielder. What a secure take there.
Excellent fast twitch response there from Puller.
Good little self-tip. Allen with the disc now.
Centering the disc to Varley. Trying to re-center his team. Is there for the next shot.
Verbeek getting involved in this possession. Cutting back towards that near sideline, but goes to Varley instead. Mackling there as the midfield support.
We see a bit of pointing and communicating, but not a lot of running.
I mean, that's half the job, surely. Oh, big touch.
Way to get into the mix there. Excellent D. So looked really clean from this point of view.
Yeah. It's not McNeese, sorry, King gets in front, keeps it clean. Great block there for the Wands.
Just a bit greedy there by Barefoot, unfortunately.
Gamby with it now, marked by Varley near sideline. Beswick, marked by Allen. Oh, Allen got a touch.
Yes, Allen hearing the call behind him of line, potentially moving his mark around and doing the exact job that's asked of him.
Mackling goes through, finds Allen. Nickel there is the reset option. Laser show straight through, trying to give Puller a haircut.
I think that was D'd by Puller almost. I think it was a long shot for someone else.
Wasn't the level of control we're used to seeing from Kieran Allen. Mickael has it now. There's a call, looks like a pick.
Pick call by Mackling. I think she got stuck, got caught up in the stack as Mickael was cutting around it. Disc is in and Mickael is looking to reset.
King has it now. Puts the bomb up.
It's a bit of a floaty one. Excellent take by Puller.
Huge defensive play, great positioning there. Allen with the shimmy. Gets nice and open. There's a slip from Beswick. Varley has separation now.
I don't want to see, oh, big.
Goes for Simons.
Was that a bailout? I reckon that was a bailout.
Puller wide open. Can he get it? Yes. Barefoot back within 2. We have ourselves a game, folks.
It worked, but I think they were relying a little bit on someone putting that up big. They were just like, if it's not this player, who's going to huck it next? So, I mean, it worked. So,
was that bookends for Puller as well?
Bookends for Puller, it was.
Hey.
Yeah. Both extremes of the field, too.
And again, such great awareness here. Puller looking like he was not making a play, but recognizing where the disc was gonna fall, trusting Simons to pull that one down and giving an easy continuation. So the defense didn't ever have a chance to catch up and really pressure that final pass.
And if you're gonna leave Allen unmarked, he's gonna uncork something. So that's also a bit tough for on defense, having to make sure that you're getting in front of him a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's the kind of player that you would want to throw a flat force in front of.
Yes, and I've played against him, and that doesn't stop him either, but it helps.
It makes you feel better. Oh, letting
calm, yeah. The pole just goes to the ground. Hoopen has to run over to grab it. The zone, that has been working. Has been creating turns. Big bid there. Would love to see it.
Micah Miller getting horizontal. Hoban with the disc now, facing down the zone. Brill available as an option. He lets the high release go. Peels over. Finds Worsley unmarked. Continues through to McEwen. The defense not in position. Brill and Worsley can finish it here, but it's Dinsdale with the score.
That was some pretty excellent flow. I mean, you break the middle of the zone by throwing over a very well-trained throw in this wind, and then all of a sudden those 2 or 3 downfield defenders were just split in 3-4 different ways.
Yeah. Is that her 3rd or 4th score in the game? It's at least her 3rd. I think it might be, yeah.
If it's not her 4th, I'm sure she'll get the 4th.
Yeah, yeah.
Soon enough.
Yeah, give it time.
And
well,
you see the deep not quite respecting her standing in the end zone as well, which is a shame because...
I mean, we talked earlier about the strategic mismatch, and I think they've managed to find it. You know, they've left Emily free to roam around the deep, and they've paid the price for it, but for whatever reason, they haven't kept the receipts.
That being said, their zone has been, the Barefoot zone has previously been better about adjusting when it gets broken over the top. Perhaps it's a later in the game kind of mistake where you are just a little bit more gassed.
Yeah, the fatigue coming in makes a big difference.
Game 3 or 4 of the day, you know, it gets a bit harder to play every point.
Although something that I do like about the structure of our tournament, so we've only got 7 open teams in their division. So rather than splitting into pools and playing through pool play and then a bracket play to finish the day, or to finish the weekend rather, we've got 1 open pool. And they're playing as a round robin before going into a final game. So it's going to be good to see every team play every other team. Williams getting involved as Vali's doing a huge amount of give-go work, getting every 2nd, 3rd touch on the disc. Goes to Verbeek. It's a simultaneous grab, which favors the offense.
A little bit of a pause, but not an actual stoppage. Some good knowledge of the rules there. Oh, and a leading pass to the other team. You can see what they want, but there were 2 defenders there. There was just no chance. Big huck from Hubin. Big open space to huck into.
Looking for King. What a take and a comfortable score. Puts them 1 away from the win.
What a fun point. What a fun score. You know, when you're in acres of space like that and it's just up to you to run it down. Just stretch the legs out into the end zone. Good recognition from that cutter to time his cut off when Hubin received the disc.
Yeah.
Acres of space. That's a tough call to defend against that.
Yeah. Jonathan King. Wide open.
We get to see that huck again. You really see Hubin stepping into that huck, using a lot of almost torque through his body to get that power.
Hip drive. That's why we do deadlifts, folks. We do our RDLs, we do our glute bridges, we do our core training.
Turns out it works.
Crazy.
Wild.
Them boys at NASA really are onto something. So
but we're not done yet, though. Wizards currently are within 1 point of winning this game. Game to 13, so.
What are we going to see as a pull from Mickael on this one?
Flick pull, leaning towards the low side, good distance.
Or skims below puller's hands, loses them a few extra yards. Allen goes to nickel. Mackling in the midfield, gets it on the next one.
Mackling has I really like her decision making. You can kind of see it in action. Good at leading her player. Great grab by Allen with a big huck.
Looking for Rocard.
Hoping he reads it.
Well taken. That's going to be a score. Barefoot on 9.
I think that was almost a 360 by Rocard there, but had plenty of time because that huck from Allen gave him plenty of time. So a score by Barefoot. They're within 3 of tying it up, but this is now game point for Wellington Wizards. Sorry, Wizard Wands. Wellington Wizard Wands.
So nothing other than perfect defense.
Nice float, but also still leading.
Yeah.
So it's like he had plenty of time, but it was always in front of him as well.
Yeah. Which I think is such a huge thing, just to make it that much easier for the receiver. If it's coming in over the top, you've got to check your head on a swivel, you've got to get your timing right. But it's one of those things where right towards the end of its flight path, the disc starts to slow down, and it just makes it that much easier for a receiver like Rocard to just run right onto it.
Absolutely. So we have an O-line now from Wizards, stoically facing down the Barefoot D-line. We see Hubin once again. I think he's played the majority of these points. Big pull going up now. Let's count that airtime.
That was at least 3 bottles of beer. Goes through, finds Hubin. Immediately pushing the up line, trying to get to the far sideline, that high side. The zone from Barefoot's in place.
You don't want to, just because you're on game point doesn't mean you need to get greedy or desperate about anything here. Just keep playing the ultimate that got you into this position.
Yeah. Hubin again, it's a little high, but Beswick, oh, nearly managed to, whew. Oh goodness, I just lost a fingernail biting it off on that one. Hubin has it. There's Wong available as the support if they want to go a little bit wider, start using the space on the field to Brill here.
Nice cut there from Wong, setting that up, leaving the handler marks on in the dust. Big swing.
Finds Tan very close to the end zone here, close to the finish of the game if they can do it right. Hubin has it. Back around to Wong. Tan with a great cut. Not in yet, and a quick little dishy through to Beswick for the score and the win. That is going to be the Wizard Wands, 13 over Barefoot 9. Keep in mind, folks, the first half ended 7-1. So huge performance by Barefoot to rally late in the piece, but not quite enough to put one over on the Wizard Wands despite a great effort. Huge work, huge output from both of those teams. A fantastic spectacle to watch. Some really, really dynamic points.
Big plays.
Yeah, you love to see
big
it.
Highlights.
You love to see
You're
it.
gonna do it for the camera.
Exactly.
And yeah, a good spirited game as well. Not a lot of chats, and hopefully the teams can, maybe they play again together.
Yeah, I mean, and only time will tell. But speaking of time, that is our time for this game here, folks. We have one more game to bring you very, very shortly. So if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and hit that button now. I know, I swore I'd never say it, but like and subscribe, etc., etc. But my name is Blair Monroe.
My name's Rachel Honeywood.
Join us for the next one very, very soon.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
ULTI.TV